Every one of these is a new channel started around December, and they use the same AI, the same voice, the same character. And you'll notice this is a new channel. All these are the same channel, but on different channels, if that makes sense. They are just reposting all of this to a bunch of different channels. All seem to be have this like finance tilt, economics, finance, whatever it may be. Now you can see here, I'm still clicking. These are the exact same. Every one of these is a different channel. And look, I've made no secrets. I think we are all in trouble with AI, our jobs, and now even our hobbies. I think YouTube also has had a very clear problem with getting people on the platform in terms of creators and keeping them there because they don't really pay us that much. And burnout is a very real thing. I mean, the algorithm is now really wanting you to post multiple times a day, and that's not sustainable as a human. So, in order to fight that, and in order to fight this attrition rate where most creators end up leaving, well, they're starting to lean into these AI avatars. For a very simple understanding of how this is being used, they're using AI agents and really just automation to make all these videos rather quickly. And they put in a prompt. And remember, in that prompt, you can slant it any way you want. You can say, listen, make a YouTube video that is anti American, for example, and make it about the Israeli war. And oh, yeah, I want you to automate this process about 4 times a day. And take that information, know that I want it to be current news, but with this slant, I want you to go scrape the web and gather assets as well as gather any information that you're basically going to steal to create your script. And then once you get the script, you're going to have something like you can use 11 Labs. You can use a lot of other solutions out there, even ones that are open source, and you're going to voice it. It's really interesting that all these ones that I showed you up here did have the same voice. Now, once you have the voice, you're going to go ahead and apply it to your video model, and then your video model will just go ahead and take over. Let's say you're using something like Sora or whatever you're using. That's going to take that script, that's going to take that voice, that's going to take the video, it's going to take all the B-roll, maybe even some clips that you captured, and it's going to make a video at this point by editing it, right? And then it's going to automatically upload to your channel. Now, you can see how this is problematic in many different ways, but you can also see why YouTube probably kind of likes it because now you're spitting out 4 or 5 things. Some of these are spitting them out every 2 hours. There is no real limit here other than the time it takes for the model to do it. And oftentimes there's no human oversight. All of things, again, along with those labels we just spoke about, are supposed to be, well, not playable on YouTube, if you will. These are the type of channels that are supposed to be banned. And this is the channel that really set it off for me and the one that I really keyed into this and it started popping up on multiple different channels in multiple different ways. But you can see here's things, they get a lot of views. They also have like ceasefire done, Putin just changed the game. So again, that didn't happen at all, right? And you will notice they're supposed to have in their description a disclaimer that they're completely fabricated. We're looking at, 4 million views total for this with 32,000 subscribers. So that's really impressive in my opinion. When you start looking at some of these, they also have a fair amount of engagement. This one did quite well. You can see here and it has 539 comments and it doesn't look like they're all bots to me. So again, I'm very concerned that people are buying into this and they're willing to listen to this over like real live people. That is my biggest concern, especially when it's this easy to make, as I showed you with that automation. Now if we take a look at this channel again, you'll notice a lot of it has to do with money and finance on all of them that I'm going to show you today. They don't have those labels, they don't have the labels on the video itself, but again, they're getting pretty good views, 122,000, 136,000, so on and so forth. But they're also associated with this German channel. And what's interesting, it's the same type of content, right? Same guy doing it, whatever, but they're not getting any views. So it's as if they're not targeting the German market, or maybe Germans just are not buying into this type of stuff. But again, you can see how many different channels they are. Now, some of them we'll see it's a crapshoot whether or not they do say it here. So this one says it is altered or synthetic content, sounds or visuals were significantly edited and digitally generated, but it's not talking about where any of the sources came from or anything like that. You can see here is more of that like foreign language and weird stuff that probably comes from AI. This is why it concerns me. All of them are what I would consider would be like this content factory. So whether this is just copycat people, this one's saying United States, but August 15th. So Who knows? Are they buying these channels? Let's see if there's any other bigger ones. These are like 300, 2700, 2.6, 2.6. And it goes on and on and on with this stuff. So very interesting to me what's happening here. And it's not just limited to this channel, for example. There's a lot of this going on. If we go deeper into here, and this is just shows you how many are here. Here's another one. Again, I'm not going to play this
America is
stuff
with you.
because I don't want to get a ding or anything. But yes, this would be example of like the left side doing things. And again, you can tell it's AI, right? But this one, 36,000 views, 3,000 subscribers, and 137 comments with engagement. So pretty crazy to me. And she's actually doing quite well. Modern Beacon. And if we go over here, here's another one. This one's from more like a Canadian shift, but she's not using any of the call outs here for her channel either. I'm saying her only because that's the AI, but 290, 298, right? And you'll notice here, when we play it, same kind of deal, right? You see her lips. This is AI, but it's either fooling people or what. I don't really know. Now, this one's pretty interesting because this AI agent has his own Twitter and also his own Instagram. But yeah, that he doesn't really use them. He has like one follower, but 500,000 views, folks, for 10,000 subscribers. And this channel, I don't know when it started, but I will play a little bit of this because this is decent AI.
They were the first to report, and they're based out of Israel, that Donald Trump is now begging Iran for a ceasefire.
So again, you can see, that whatever slant you want to say there, do we know he's begging for it? I don't know. Again, above my pay grade. I'm more talking about the AI, but it's done pretty well. But people are, subscribing to him and watching him at an alarming rate. Now come down here, 4,800 comments. I just fail to see how that's bots, right? And this guy's doing really well on this as well. So virtual avatars is definitely a thing. Now I did also find this MTG Political Insider. Good thing about them is they are saying this is for educational purposes, disclaimer, fan made, but this is a complete ripoff of her voice.
I am going to tell you something that the entire political establishment in Washington is terrified you will figure out. The conflict with Iran was not started because of nuclear weapons. It was
I mean, that's crazy to me, right? And they took her likeness, they took her voice. Clearly it's AI, but they're not telling you it's AI. Well, I guess they are in the description, but even if they are telling you it's AI, 810 likes, 18,000, 2,000 views. We go back to their channel, they're doing quite well as well. If you look, 32,000, 6,000, I mean, 41,000. It looks like they have some bangers every once in a while, 20,000. But I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm not for this at all, especially when you're trying to steal someone's likeness. Now, this one's interesting because Blair Madison, it looks like I saw this yesterday, and this was not grayed out. This was a complete clone of Rachel Maddow. And again, if you listen to her voice here,
modern air defense are failing in real time, on camera, in front of the entire world. And the people who sold you those systems, who sold those systems to dozens of government.
so I don't know why they covered this up, but if we go take a look at her channel, let's see, or Blair, I don't know who this is, but nothing here even in the title. So nothing here, more about this channel. That's all it says. So 4,000 subscribers, which again, they must be bought, but 331,000 views for a channel that has 4,000 and six videos and 4,000 subscribers. That's hard for me to believe. But again, how is it getting that play? Now, this was another one I found, 18,000. This has 55,292 comments on it. And this is basically just like an extremist making a speech. But some people are being fooled by it. I mean, I can obviously tell that it's AI through the lips, but I guess some people don't know how to decipher that. So that's just going to go to show you again, the type of danger that we're facing. And I don't think YouTube's doing a really good job. Here's another one of, kind of, sussing this out. I mean, yeah, this is good. They're putting this, but that doesn't say anything about how like, hey, this is probably fake information, right? And I'm not trying to pick on these people, whatever. You got to make hay while the sun shines. I get that. But on the same hand, this is very troubling to me. Look, I think it's very clear to me what's happening here, and it's scary on multiple fronts. I mean, on one hand, I am a creator and I'm watching myself slowly being replaced. And I know that YouTube is leaning into it because YouTube can't hold on to creators. And instead of fixing that problem, they're just going to say, hey, let's lean into these folks that understand how to use automation to produce these things. And not only that, they can produce them so quickly, we don't even need real humans. And the people behind those things are going to make a lot of money. They certainly are. And YouTube, to date at least, isn't even standing up or enforcing any of the AI rules. Now, some of them we saw are trying to protect themselves, but it still doesn't talk about where they got their data. Why isn't there requirements for them to be cited? As we know, all models hallucinate, and certainly you can kind of massage it into what you want. I mean, a lot of these models are really designed to reinforce what you're thinking. They're headed for bad times. I mean, we just saw Block lay off half of their staff and replace them with AI. And now when I'm on YouTube, all I'm getting fed is this rhetoric. And what's really scary to me is this rhetoric seems coordinated. It's exactly the same. I just showed you multiple different channels that are using the same thing, and this seems like a direct attack. It seems like a psyops, and especially considering what's going on right this instance on the international stage, well, it's not a far-fetched thing to consider this might be some type of foreign adversary using this to flood our minds. These people are making a tremendous amount of money. I just showed you how you could use something like N8N on a very high level by walking it through a automated system like N8N, or even doing it with ClaudeBot. Literally, this stuff can be pushed out while you're washing the dishes, while you're out playing a game of tennis or whatever you do, right? This can all happen while you're away. And people right now, clearly by these numbers, are making a lot of money on this. And Google has no intentions of stopping it. And in fact, they are not even enforcing any of the things they told us that we needed to do. Like, you can't have content farm factories. It can't be completely fabricated. You got to have these labels on it. They clearly aren't enforcing any of this. And these aren't new channels. Some of these are older channels that are continuously getting away from this. So depending on what side you're on, listen, if you're viewing this and going, man, I need to start one of these, you may not be wrong. And your boy Hill may need to as well, just because that may be the only way in the future I'm allowed or able to create. Because people aren't going to want a real live human. We make mistakes. We stumble over our words. We have opinions, but the model will be the greatest thing. And don't forget, the model has opinions and biases, and you can prompt those in, folks. So that's what's happening. And that's maybe just a guess, and maybe people are replicating it, but I have seen evidence that this is coming from foreign places. And if it is coming from foreign places, couple that with the fact that it's very much so has an undercurrent of being like anti-American, I have a feeling this is a psyops, and Google is letting it happen. Let me know what you think's going on in the comments. Please consider liking and subscribing. As always, my name's Hill Phantom, and I hope to see you next time.